Chronic dependence on external validation damages hippocampal neurons, impairing memory and learning, a critical neurocognitive concern for individuals over 50. This destructive pattern, often cultivated since youth, involves a continuous need to conform to the expectations of colleagues, friends, relatives, and even strangers. This constant adjustment, the effort to play roles and please everyone, activates a perpetual stress response within the physiological system. The sympathetic nervous system remains in a state of heightened readiness, consistently releasing stress hormones such as cortisol. Prolonged exposure to cortisol not only depletes the adrenal glands, but also contributes to systemic inflammation, suppresses immune function, and can indeed induce damage to the neurons within the hippocampus, the brain region crucial for memory formation and learning. This specific neurobiological impact is particularly critical for individuals over 50. The brain persists in a state of vigilance against potential judgment, diverting immense cognitive resources. However, by approximately 65 years of age, a clear realization emerges. Attempting to please everyone is not only an unachievable objective, but also entirely counterproductive. Releasing this compulsion allows the parasympathetic nervous system to assume dominance, thereby restoring homeostatic balance within the organism. This physiological shift results in a reduction in heart rate, normalization of arterial blood pressure, enhanced digestive function, and improved sleep quality. The brain reallocates energy from social vigilance towards self-reflection, creative pursuits, and tasks genuinely meaningful to the individual, stabilizing emotional regulation and optimizing neuroendocrine balance. Closely linked to this is another detrimental habit, the daily rush. In younger years, there is often a perception that time is rapidly escaping, necessitating the accomplishment of numerous goals, meticulous planning of every step, and an apprehension of missing any opportunity. Each day transforms into an exhausting marathon where work, career, and endless to-do lists supersede all other priorities. We become accustomed to operating at high velocities, mistakenly believing this is the sole path to success. Physiologically, this perpetual race leads to chronic activation of the sympathetic nervous system, with continuous release of adrenaline and noradrenaline. This induces a sustained elevation in heart rate, arterial blood pressure, increased muscular tension, and disrupts the normal functioning of the digestive system. Chronic haste impairs sleep architecture, diminishing the crucial phases of deep, restorative sleep, and consequently accelerates cellular aging by affecting telomere length. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions, becomes overloaded, resulting in decision fatigue, diminished concentration, and an increased incidence of errors. Yet, after 65, the understanding crystallizes. In this relentless pursuit, we overlook the most essential aspects of life. Meaningfulness and deliberate pacing gain paramount value. Transitioning to a more conscious and measured tempo of life activates the parasympathetic nervous system, facilitating rest and digest processes. This enhances nutrient absorption, accelerates cellular repair, and normalizes sleep cycles. Cognitively, this manifests as improved focus, heightened creativity, and consolidated memory. The reduced impact of stress hormones mitigates systemic inflammation and supports cardiovascular health. The subsequent aspect that diminishes in significance is the wearing of social masks. From an early age, we are conditioned to conform to expectations, adopting roles to gain acceptance and approval. In professional settings, social circles, and personal relationships, we conceal vulnerabilities and suppress authentic emotions, sometimes losing sight of our true selves. This incessant pretense generates a state of psychological fragmentation and demands enormous cognitive effort, leading to mental fatigue and increasing the risk of anxiety disorders and depression. Crucially, it inhibits the production of oxytocin, a hormone vital for forming deep, trusting bonds, thereby impeding the development of genuinely sincere relationships. The dissonance between the internal self and the external persona induces chronic stress and existential dissatisfaction, impacting the balance of key neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. By 65, the freedom to be oneself emerges. The imperative to appear better than we are dissipates, and authenticity becomes valued. This authenticity reduces cognitive load and permits the expression of genuine emotions, which is fundamentally important for mental well-being. It fosters the formation of secure attachments, stimulating oxytocin production and strengthening social support systems. Such alignment of internal experience with external behavior minimizes stress, elevates self-esteem, and promotes a profound sense of integrity and well-being. This inevitably leads to a reevaluation of material values. In youth, we frequently perceive the acquisition of possessions as synonymous with happiness. An expensive car, fashionable attire, a spacious residence. We believe these are indispensable attributes of a successful life, and the pursuit of them becomes an unending process. However, this pursuit often activates the brain's reward system, specifically the dopaminergic pathways, in a manner that yields only transient satisfaction, quickly leading to hedonic adaptation, the need for progressively more to achieve the same level of pleasure. This creates dopamine treadmill, fueling constant striving and dissatisfaction. Chronic comparison of oneself with others based on material wealth can activate brain regions associated with social pain, increasing stress and anxiety levels. After 65, it becomes evident possessions are merely objects. True value resides not in material items but in memories, warm evenings with family, travels, the smiles of loved ones. Shifting focus to intrinsic values, relationships, experiences, personal growth, activates alternative, more sustainable reward pathways in the brain, leading to deeper and more enduring feelings of contentment and well-being. Prioritizing social connections stimulates oxytocin production, strengthening attachments, and providing emotional resilience. A reduced emphasis on material acquisitions diminishes competitive stress and fosters a sense of gratitude, which is empirically linked to improved cardiovascular health and immune function. Another significant burden carried from youth is the weight of old grudges. In our younger years, we often cling to them, replaying unfair words and actions, believing this preserves our righteousness. Yet, the longer resentment is harbored, the more intensely it poisons from within. Holding a grudge constitutes a form of chronic psychological stress that maintains the body in a state of hyperactivation. This results in elevated cortisol levels, an increase in inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein, and a compromised immune system. Persistent rumination on past grievances disrupts sleep, elevates arterial blood pressure, and contributes to the risk of cardiovascular diseases. The limbic system, particularly the amygdala, remains overactive, perpetuating feelings of anger, resentment, and anxiety. With advancing years, the understanding emerges that grudges are heavy anchors, impeding the ability to live in the present. Forgiveness becomes not an act of weakness, but an act of profound liberation, allowing one to move forward unencumbered. After 65, we realize that life is too brief to be consumed by negativity. Forgiveness, specifically the relinquishment of resentment, actively reduces physiological stress. Research demonstrates its capacity to decrease heart rate, arterial blood pressure, and cortisol levels. This process redirects brain activity from regions associated with anger and rumination towards those involved in empathy and emotional regulation. Such physiological release enhances sleep quality, strengthens immune response, and elevates overall psychological and physical well-being by freeing cognitive resources previously absorbed by negativity. Through life's journey, we also come to recognize the illusory nature of complete control. In youth, we often believe that everything is within our command. We meticulously construct detailed plans and strategies, endeavoring to control every aspect of our existence. Any deviation from these plans frequently triggers anxiety. However, life is inherently unpredictable. Illnesses, losses, sudden changes, all these factors can dismantle the most elaborate schemes. The incessant striving for control within an inherently unpredictable world generates chronic anxiety. This activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, leading to a constant release of cortisol. Such a prolonged stress response can impair memory and concentration, suppress the immune system, and contribute to metabolic dysregulation. The brain becomes rigid, struggling to adapt to change, which is a key factor in cognitive decline and an increased predisposition to depression in later life. It becomes clear that attempts to control everything merely amplify stress. We learn to release situations and accept life as it unfolds. Flexibility and acceptance prove to be far more crucial than rigid control. While we cannot govern events, we can certainly manage our reactions to them. Cultivating acceptance and flexibility significantly diminishes the activity of the stress response system. This enables the prefrontal cortex to engage in problem solving rather than reactive anxiety. Such a shift fosters emotional resilience, enhances cognitive adaptability, and cultivates a profound sense of inner peace. Physiologically, it stabilizes neurotransmitter balance, reduces resting heart rate, and improves overall cardiovascular health by mitigating the chronic burden of perceived threat. Another illusion dispelled by age is the relentless pursuit of external beauty. From an early age, we are indoctrinated with the belief that appearance plays a pivotal role. We fear wrinkles, gray hair, and bodily changes, presuming that attractiveness diminishes with age. This aspiration frequently stems from societal pressures and can lead to chronic self-criticism, anxiety regarding aging, and body dysmorphia. The constant striving to conform to unrealistic beauty standards generates psychological stress, negatively impacting self-esteem and contributing to the development of depression. This can provoke unhealthy lifestyle choices, ranging from extreme diets to excessive cosmetic procedures, all with potential negative physiological consequences. However, with advancing years, the realization dawns: true beauty does not reside in ideal facial features. After 65, the focus shifts from how we look to how we feel. Health, vitality, and the inner radiance that emanates from within, these are the authentic markers of beauty. Shifting focus from external appearance to internal well-being and health significantly reduces chronic self-criticism and fosters a more positive body image. This diminished psychological stress positively influences the endocrine system, promoting hormonal balance. Prioritizing health through proper nutrition, consistent physical activity, and adequate sleep directly improves cellular functions, boosts energy levels, and supports skin health from within, leading to a genuine luminosity independent of age. The minor fears that once paralyzed us in youth also lose their dominion. The fear of making mistakes, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, these once appeared formidable and impeded progress. Even small fears activate the amygdala, initiating a cascade of physiological responses designed for survival: accelerated heart rate, shallow respiration, and muscular tension. Chronic activation of this fear circuit, even in response to minor perceived threats, maintains the body in a state of low-level fight or flight. This depletes energy, impairs decision-making capabilities, as the prefrontal cortex is less active under duress, and can lead to anxiety disorders and avoidant behaviors, thereby limiting life experience and neuroplasticity. Over time, we understand that most of these fears existed solely within our minds. The mistakes we so dreaded did not destroy our lives, but instead became invaluable lessons. By 65, we realize that life is too short to be consumed by fear. We cease to worry about the opinions of others. Serenity arrives with the acceptance of the inevitable, and true freedom manifests when we release these fears. Confronting and releasing these fears reduces amygdala hyperactivity. It fortifies the prefrontal cortex's capacity to regulate emotions and more rationally assess risks. This shift fosters greater exploratory activity, learning, and resilience. Physiologically, it promotes a state of calm, reducing the production of stress hormones, enhancing cognitive functions, and cultivating a profound sense of psychological safety, which is paramount for mental and physical health in mature adulthood. The pursuit of status, so characteristic of youth, also proves to be an empty endeavor. In our younger years, it is often critical to make an impression. Job title, car brand, house size, we measure success by external attributes, presuming that ascending the social ladder will garner greater respect. However, the pursuit of external status is frequently driven by extrinsic motivation, which, as research has shown, correlates with lower levels of long-term happiness and increased anxiety and depression. This can culminate in burnout due to relentless effort and a constant need for external approval. The brain's reward system, particularly the dopaminergic pathways, can be excessively stimulated by temporary status achievements, leading to a cycle of perpetual striving that never delivers complete satisfaction. The social comparison inherent in the quest for status can also activate stress responses. After 65, we recognize that prestige and status are illusory. No one will recall the amount of money earned or the accolades received. What endures in memory are moments of genuine human warmth. Respect is earned through wisdom, kindness, and integrity. True value lies not in one's position in the social hierarchy, but in the ability to be at peace with oneself. Shifting focus to intrinsic values, autonomy, mastery, purpose, and authentic connection activates alternative, more sustainable reward pathways in the brain, leading to deeper and more enduring satisfaction. This mitigates the stress associated with constant competition and comparison, fostering inner peace and self-worth. Authenticity in relationships born from this shift promotes oxytocin production and strengthens social support, key determinants of longevity and overall well-being. Arguments and the imperative to prove oneself right constitute another mental trap. In youth, it often seems vital to defend one's viewpoint. We are prepared to argue vociferously, believing that being right confers strength. However, most arguments are fundamentally futile. People rarely alter their opinions under the pressure of arguments. Debates do not lead to truth. They merely generate tension and erode relationships. Engaging in heated arguments triggers a significant physiological stress response. The body releases cortisol and adrenaline, increasing heart rate, arterial blood pressure, and muscular tension. This fight response can lead to emotional exhaustion and damage to interpersonal relationships, which are critically important for psychological and physical health. Chronic exposure to conflict elevates systemic inflammation and impairs immune function. The brain, under stress, becomes less capable of empathy and rational information processing, succumbing to confirmation bias. With age, the understanding emerges that peace and harmony are more valuable than any perceived rightness. We learn to listen rather than to argue. Being kind and understanding is far more significant than winning a verbal duel. True wisdom lies not in the ability to convince, but in the capacity to calmly accept differing opinions. Choosing empathy and active listening over confrontation activates the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting a state of calm. This fosters mutual respect and strengthens social bonds, which is crucial for oxytocin production and stress reduction. This approach conserves mental energy, facilitates emotional regulation, and protects cardiovascular health by minimizing the impact of conflict-induced stress. The brain becomes more receptive to diverse perspectives, enhancing cognitive flexibility. Finally, the desire to control the lives of others. We frequently believe we know what is best for others. We offer advice, intervene in the decisions of loved ones, attempting to guide them onto the correct path. However, this desire often stems from our own anxiety and a need for a sense of security, yet it invariably leads to increased personal stress and can damage relationships. The attempt to control others is inherently fruitless and often meaningless, leading to chronic feelings of powerlessness and resentment. It can foster codependent behavioral patterns, where our well-being becomes excessively intertwined with the choices of others, resulting in emotional exhaustion and burnout. The brain remains in a state of heightened vigilance concerning the actions of others. With age, the understanding arrives. Individuals learn solely through their own experiences. Our most benevolent intentions can be perceived as pressure. After 65, the ability to relinquish control emerges. We learn to respect the choices of others, even if they appear misguided to us. We can offer presence, support, and love, but not govern another's life. The only person we can genuinely change is ourselves. Releasing the need to control others sharply reduces personal stress. It fosters the establishment of healthier boundaries, providing greater autonomy and emotional space. This shift promotes a profound sense of inner peace and freedom, as energy is redirected from external manipulation towards internal self-management and personal growth. It strengthens genuine relationships built on respect and trust rather than control, leading to improved social support and a diminished sense of isolation. These profound realizations should not exclusively manifest with the onset of gray hair. The sooner we decide to liberate ourselves from these invisible yet destructive anchors, the higher the quality and balance of our existence will be. This represents a pragmatic choice in favor of our own long-term well-being, enabling the redirection of precious physiological and psychological resources towards creation and the authentic joy of living. thereby preventing the accumulation of chronic stress and its associated diseases, particularly after the age of 50. Immediate action is imperative, ceasing to fret over trivialities, to chase external recognition, and to attempt to manage that which is beyond our control.